All right, fellas. I think we're live.
Oh,
Oh,
That quick, like no intro music, no nothing. I didn't want
yeah, I'm about to say.
to.
Well, hello.
I didn't want to drop anything. We just straight live. Welcome to Launchpad, everybody. Episode number 2. We in here number 2, right?
Yeah,
All right, cool.
absolutely.
Um, Thank you everybody for joining. We're on YouTube and the Maxwell TV app, so make sure you guys check that out. Here with myself, um, Vince Harris, and Justin Winters. Man,
hey,
I noticed some quality difference in you, Vince. Something had you added a light or something. Something happened.
Yeah, I just tweaked the lighting a little bit. Lighting setup is a little bit different.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, welcome
That's
every.
you have a very developed eye,
You
Mr.
know,
Maxwell.
it takes time. Um, they say Justin's setup looks the crispiest.
Yeah, that joint look lovely.
All right. So for you guys don't know, welcome to Launchpad. Myself, Vince, and Justin. We're entrepreneurs. We have a business together, several businesses together. We're also real estate investors ourselves. And we like to come on here every week and just kind of talk about things, everything entrepreneur, as far and as well as real estate investing in ourselves. We keep our ears to the street a lot, which allows us to be able to maintain kind of our businesses and stay on top of things. And then obviously these guys are way smarter than me. You guys know what I say about hanging out with people that are smarter than me. So we got a few topics we want to talk about tonight. But mostly we like to freestyle and kind of talk about some things as well too. So Vince, Justin, you got any topics that are pressing you this day? First of all, how are you guys doing today?
man, today was a crazy day.
Yeah, it was.
Busy
Just
day, man.
Justin, I feel like every day is a crazy day for you, man. You always heads down going after it. Um,
Yeah, I know. It's yeah, and then wanting to prepare for our discussion tonight, so we got some good info for everybody. So just running around, a lot, with just what we've been working on with REI Rail and REI Skip, and the new product we have coming out. So, but still, it's a good day, man. I'm happy to be busy. Thankful to be busy.
I love
Could
it.
be worse.
And they ask if we're taking questions at the end, and obviously, yeah, we're gonna take questions on pretty much anything, and I think that'll be pretty good.
Yeah, I say we take questions throughout. If they say something that looks good in the chat, I say we bring it out, talk about it.
10-4. I like that. So let me see here. I know we want to talk about a couple things. Vince, what's something you want to talk about first that kind of sparks everything? There's a few things that's happened in the last, like since we met, last 7 days.
Yeah, it's been a pretty active 7 days. It almost feels like I never seen news cycles move this fast.
Uh huh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to imagine. Like, think about how long ago the attack on the Capitol feels like. That was just
Oh
4 weeks
wow.
ago, bro.
Yeah.
You know, I
Like, we've
was.
had the game.
It's a lot been going on. You know, I was at my dentist today going in for a cleaning and
Oh man,
I
that's risky.
yeah, it is risky, but you know what? It's like I was talking to my hygienist and she was like, I can't believe we almost been in this a year already. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I
I
mean,
posted in your group
February.
today. We live was exactly a year ago.
I did not. It's so crazy. Time is so crazy. I don't even know what to think.
Yeah, you said I saw that today, the 1 year anniversary. Vince had people posting their pics from the last We Live event.
That's crazy.
So
Yeah, man.
yeah, man.
Yeah, I just feel like the news cycle has been. I mean, it's been a crazy year. It feels like we live was even longer ago than that because we all been on lockdown. So it was interesting to see that show up on my timeline. But then, yeah, I mean, the Capitol attack that was just 4 weeks ago. But we've had, the whole Reddit thing with GameStop. We had here just this past couple of days Elon coming out and saying that he put $1.5 billion in the Bitcoin, sent that thing through the roof. It's up at almost $50,000 per coin. We just had a bunch of stuff. It just keeps coming in rapid succession. All the Facebook stuff going on with Apple and whatnot. So, I mean, the Bitcoin thing, I mean, that's a story. And I think it's probably, Max, worth just spending a few seconds to share with people why we talk about this stuff that's not necessarily like directly real estate related. To me, and I'd love to have us all chime in on this, but like for me, I think you need to understand what's happening in all facets of the market, right? You don't need to be an expert, but I think if you plan to have good conversations, especially with buyers who are going to be people who have attained some wealth and are probably fairly sophisticated, I think it just helps for you to know what's going on in the world, to be able to talk about the big stories, you know, especially business and financial stories. So, you know, talking about Bitcoin certainly just feels relevant to me. I don't know what you guys think.
I mean, and that's why I kind of like this as a entrepreneur show, not just really real estate, because a lot of things affect real estate in itself. And so I'm all open for it every week to talk about everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely relevant for all those reasons you mentioned, Vince, which is you want to be an expert. I mean, when you're talking to someone about the largest financial or one of the largest financial decisions that they're going to make for their lives, you want to be able to talk about a lot of topics in the financial realm and sound, you know, not necessarily like an expert, but definitely well informed. You know, so we talk on all these subjects so that you can sound really informed when you go out and you talk to your buyers and your sellers, and especially if you're going to be talking to buyers, you know, because those folks are, you know, a lot of times they're pretty savvy, you know, and being able to have a conversation with them, you know, outside of just the deal, but just a general conversation about economics, finance, what have you, what's, you know, trends, will increase their confidence in you.
Yeah, for sure. What did you think about that when y'all saw that Elon put that much money in there?
Well, for me, it was a couple things, because right now Elon is, first of all, Vince, I think you would know, is Bitcoin a regulated like stocks where you can do will you get in the same trouble doing some type of manipulation, or no?
It's not regulated. That's part of the appeal, and also the danger of it is that it exists completely outside of any sort of government regulatory framework. You know,
Okay.
The miners control Bitcoin.
So okay. So as powerful as he's become recently, I think he's been able to kind of just tweet something and either Doge, how you say Dogecoin, Dogecoin or Bitcoin will go.
Call it Dog. I think some people call it Doggy Coin.
Yeah, so whatever, Snoop Dogg coin, whatever it is,
Right.
because he's able.
Snoop Doggy coin.
Imagine him placing $1.5 billion in something and it goes up 15%.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because you could definitely in the financial markets, you know, you would potentially say, hey, there's market manipulation there. But that's not different than I think than what Reddit's been doing, right? Even though it's more at an aggregate level, but you could basically say Reddit's been pumping stocks, right? But to Vince's point, you know, it's not regulated, so there's not some federal body that's going to come down and crack down on you. I mean, I think Elon's going to be our first trillionaire. I said that, I think, on one of AJ's posts this past week. And when we first started, not first, but I think maybe 2 months ago, we were telling everybody on office hours, you really need to get into Bitcoin. I think it was at 12,000 at that point, because we saw the writing on the wall, and we were like, hey, this is not financial advice. We always got to give that disclaimer. But if I were you, I'd sink a lot of money into Bitcoin, because the first sign was MicroStrategy, right? They basically put all of their cash into Bitcoin, and that was just a huge move. And that's what I think started this wave. A lot of people say that, you know, Elon Musk, we're going to look back in time and say that this moment was sort of like the turning point for Bitcoin. But I think it was the MicroStrategy move that really ushered in what we're seeing now. And, you know, some people are calling for Bitcoin to reach 500,000 a coin by 2022.
I mean, even if he put a 1.5 billion and it went 10%, I mean, what is he had $150 million day if he just took his profit off the table?
Yeah,
I mean, what's crazy is that's chump change for Elon.
Yeah, that's nothing.
You know,
I
think he's a real believer.
if SpaceX ever goes, Just imagine if SpaceX actually ever goes public. What would the market cap on that be, Vince?
I, no one knows. I think you're right. I think he will be the first trillionaire.
Yeah.
You know, we never seen anything like this. You know, it's like, it's hard to really. Oh, somebody said, yeah. So we actually
that's a
covered
good
that
point.
story too. Oh, that's Michael Reynolds. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we mentioned this too in office hours that a lot of pro athletes are requesting to be paid in Bitcoin. And the thing that we haven't said explicitly, I know you guys know, but we haven't said to folks who haven't heard the story, is that not only did he put $1.5 billion into Bitcoin, but what he said was we're working towards being able to sell Teslas and transact in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That's the big deal, right? Because people kind of understand generally that Bitcoin is a big deal and it's going to become a currency that people use. But I personally, in my life, and I'd love to hear from the audience or from you guys too, I still don't know anyone who has bought anything with Bitcoin. Again, I believe in it. I think it's going through the roof. I think you should own some. I own some, but I don't know anybody who has bought anything, sneakers, whatever.
I just saw an ad on YouTube, and what caught my eye was that it was a brother, and he was walking. He had dreads, and he's walking through the city, and he's in DC, and so that's what caught my eye, because first I thought it was like a local commercial, but I think it was a national commercial. And I forget the name of it, but basically the whole thing is him. He's walking through the city. He's looking all cool and suave. And then he walks into a corner store and he goes to the Bitcoin cash machine. And he show him putting his dollars in the machine, right, and getting the ticket back. That was pretty much the whole commercial. There was no real, conflict. But I thought that was crazy, and that they specifically to who they were marketing to. So yeah, we haven't seen people buy it, but I think it's going to become the thing,
I've bought pizza back in the day with Bitcoin.
Really?
Yeah. So like how it would work is, so I was an early adopter in Bitcoin, probably 2010.
Oh wow.
And I would buy like what happens is you there was this website set up.
You didn't keep them.
I have a crazy story where I sold 10 Bitcoin to buy a MacBook. It was my first
man.
My God.
Yo, people think I'd be capping. It's literally right here on my I'm trying.
You had 10 Bitcoin?
I'm gonna show you.
That's $500,000, bro.
Don't tell me now. I mean, that's a $500,000 laptop. I'm gonna show you. Y'all keep talking, but I'm gonna show you literally my trades on Bitcoin.
Michael Reynolds.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
Post of the week, by the way.
Which one?
The one with the Cold Crush brothers. My favorite post of the week.
He's good.
They
for
were
the
there talking about Rick got a jump shot better than Rick Barry. They were talking about Dr. J. They were talking about all the old school.
Right.
Side note.
Yeah, my dude is good for a throwback. But no, you're good. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the craziest story that I've heard, the one that made me feel bad, I'm not sure if you guys saw this story, the guy who lost his password. And this was 2 weeks ago. And that's the crazy thing. They're going to have to figure this out, because if you lose your password, you can literally get locked out of your wallet, as they call it. And at that time, before this announcement, it was $230 million worth of Bitcoin.
Man, they've had stories like that, even a couple years back with one guy. He was searching through, trying to find his hard drive in in landfills.
I'm gonna see if I can focus this in.
I don't see that.
Okay, it's coming kinda.
I can't do it.
How many? Dang.
I'll post.
How many is it?
So it was 9.9.10 at that time, and this is 2015. It was $2,315 in Bitcoin, and I took that money out to buy my first MacBook ever.
Wow.
Wow. I'm sorry, bro. I mean, you made it back many times over, so it's all good. But yeah.
Now, in the very beginning stages, Bitcoin was like, you didn't want to be associated with it. And, most of the websites and all that were, pretty incendiary sites where you could use Bitcoin in the very early going. And obviously, it had its day as The black markets were using it as their currency and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my guy right here just said he had 4 at one time and he sold it to buy Apple stock.
It's not a bad move. I bought a computer. My computer is no longer working.
Right, right.
The Apple stock's still performing.
Right. Yeah, at least he made a good swap.
So,
Yeah, man.
moving on from Bitcoin, another story that kind of, I don't know, do we want to go there yet? I mean, I was going to talk about, I had a conversation. So I have a mastermind with some brothers here that are all millionaires. One guy owns like 30 plus McDonald's, and a couple of guys exit companies and stuff. Anyways, the point is that let's talk about like the $15 an hour minimum wage. What do you guys think about that part that they're trying to push through?
Well, that's just for federal contractors, right?
I don't think.
No, they're talking about, I think they're doing it, they're proposing it for everybody, because what they're saying is that it would push something like 900,000 people out of poverty. I don't think that is federal contractors only. I mean, they shouldn't be federal contractors if they're below the poverty line. So yeah, I mean, the stat that I heard, and why this one is tricky, man, is and this does have implications down on the ground. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say it's going to push them out of poverty and push the business owners into poverty. But,
well, that's the challenge.
Obviously,
they're talking about it's going to. Well, that's the issue. Some folks out of poverty, but over 1 million people will lose a job, is what they're saying.
So, I think there's several problems wrong with this, and I know it's like, hey, well, first of all, here's the thing: wages have been ignored for so long that there has to be something radical to fix it. It's crazy. It's been ignored for so long, and now there's this thing where, oh, let's just raise it to 15. I'm all for it, but I believe that there needs to be financial education, because I don't care if I'm paying you 7 or 15. If you don't know how to use money, you're still going to be broke.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody on my staff makes less than 15 anyway, so it's not going to affect me. But you know, I think the real winner in this is the federal government being able to tax more people.
Well, I don't think it's a bad idea. I just think the timing is crazy. I mean, at the same time, you know, we're sending out all this money via stimulus. We see small business owners aren't able to really support themselves in the middle of the pandemic. So I don't know how these businesses are going to be able to afford it, you know, right now. So if we look at corporate income outside of the big ones, you know, everybody's hurting. So I don't know, you know, so maybe like a company like Amazon that's got, you know, tons of people working at minimum wage, you know, it makes sense for companies like that. I just think they need to sort of limit it to certain businesses, but I can't see the small business being able to handle this right now amidst the pandemic, and they're not getting the type of help that they need.
Well,
yeah, that's the tricky
What's up,
part.
Jen Salters?
You know. Oh, okay. Is that somebody from Willenboro?
Yeah, that's right. Yep, we went to high school together.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
that's what's up. Yeah, I think, man, this is a tricky one. You know, as a business owner, like you said, it doesn't really impact me. None of our folks, at least stateside folks, make less than $15 an hour anyway. But, you know, I certainly understand the argument of people. Listen, $15 an hour, especially in certain parts of the country, I don't know how you live on that. You know, which kind of brings up a tangential point. This isn't exactly where you were going, but I was reading something recently, and they was talking about, you know, financial literacy, this, that, and the other. And they were saying that, you know, Black folk who we know need additional financial literacy and whatnot, there's actually studies that show that when you control for the level of income, Black folk actually have higher levels of financial literacy because they have learned to do more with less. And so, like, you know, think about what it takes to raise a family making less than $15 an hour. On $9.25 an hour, right? Think about the creativity, the ingenuity, the project management, the household management that you got to do to make that work on $9.25 an hour. So, I think it's an undue burden on a lot of people, especially in certain parts of the country, to be trying to make that happen and have to be that creative on 9.25 an hour. But man, as a business owner, like Justin said, the timing just feels really sticky, right? It's definitely going to push some businesses to the brink.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen during this pandemic, but I think there's a lot of winners. Well, there's only one winner in this. I think is being able to be taxed more, but that doesn't matter. I think there really needs to be some more I think financial education needs to be taught in school, period. And I think this will help out a lot of people be able to take advantage of that 15 that they're getting to do something good with it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's still going to be spent.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. The other thing that people have talked about is sparking is inflation. You're pumping yet more money, right? So you got all this stimulus money, and then you're about to give people, another sometimes 40% increase in their income. So they're talking about it could also kick up inflation. I don't know, man. The timing just feels, I think Justin hit it on the head, man. I think the timing feels wrong.
Timing's strange. And then on top of that, you're gonna increase the amount of wages that corporations have to pay, and most likely under this administration, they're also going to increase the corporate tax. So
they definitely
and it's definitely going to impact hiring. So where they think that they're helping, I think they're going to actually add to unemployment. Yeah,
I think that's right. Hey, Max, you want to because taxes make me sad. You want a feel good story that I think is
please.
Taxes make me sad.
Please.
So some music. You got any music queued up?
I always got music queued up, brother. No, but what I was gonna say was a story that I think is also really relevant to our folks is this Reddit ad during the Super Bowl. Did y'all catch literally they had a 5-second ad.
I didn't watch the Super Bowl. So tell me what happened.
My favorite part was the dude running across the field, missing tackles and sliding into the end zone. That was my favorite part of the whole Super Bowl.
Dude at the end with the purple bikini on or whatever he had on.
Yeah, you see, he broke two tackles. He had the best run of the night. That's what everybody was saying.
I'm like Max though. I honestly, I put it on in the background. I didn't really care, to be honest. I'm not that into it. Plus I have my own just sort of philosophical issues with the NFL, so I wasn't really checking for it like that. But I was curious about the commercials. But anyway, with this Reddit ad, what happened, man, was they literally did a 5-second ad, and it was like it looked like it was going to be a car ad or something, and then it quickly switched over to a screen full of text, and it only stayed up for 5 seconds. And what it basically said was, "Oh my God, this worked. Thank you for paying attention to this ad." And then it went into this whole thing about how we feel like we deserve to be a part of the conversation in this big advertising moment. What our community did was amazing. Again, talking about what the Redditors did to push up the GameStop stock. And people, number one, it did so many things well. And I think, Justin, you'll really appreciate this, but I think the viewers will really get something out of it if we want to do a teardown of it. Is you want to talk about a pattern interrupt. Yeah. People were like thrown off. They thought that there was something wrong with their screen, right? It was like, it looked like a car commercial, and then it looked like the TV got all jacked up, and then it went boom to a static image of just text, right? And people were like scrambling.
They made it look like a hacker.
They made it look like a hacker for a quick second. Yeah. And then you had people literally, bruh, like trying to screenshot, like pausing their DVRs, kind of frantically trying to figure out what this was on their screen. And so I've been really fascinated with this thing over the last 2 days. And if you go back and read a lot of the people who break down the ads and whatnot, and they talk about how good it was, and they talk about but then just how they really tapped into the moment. And that was the piece I wanted to get, maybe a conversation going with the viewers, is like, because this is a theme that I've been thinking on a lot, right? Is we all know it's getting really competitive out there, especially in real estate. And it just feels like, going back, Justin, to something that we were talking about recently, this quality over quantity thing. I really feel like that's going to be a theme for people. Like, if you can find a way to really resonate, I'm not sure that the mass, the big message, the over the top production, like the fact that they were able to really tap in with a 5-second commercial and they played on the community aspect of their product and what they do. They tore the cover off the ball, bro. 5-second ad. Everybody should go look it up. Literally it's the shortest ad ever in Super Bowl history.
5 seconds.
Wow. You know, the last line
5
of the ad,
seconds,
I just
bro.
pulled it up. It said, powerful things happen when people rally around something they really care about. And there's a place for that. It's called Reddit. Man, that's good.
That's brilliant.
Makes sense.
That's brilliant.
And they said, you know, in the beginning, they talked about the fact that big game spots were expensive, so we couldn't buy a full one. But we were inspired and decided to spend our entire marketing budget on 5 seconds of airtime.
Max, can you pull it up on screen?
I could. It probably break everything. I don't know how to do that.
Okay.
Yo, this program I'm using is like a straight switchboard from 2026, man.
Right. Well, don't do that. Don't break nothing. But I think it would be helpful, man. Like if the three of us kind of do a teardown of this thing right here live with people. I don't know if Justin, you can have it on screen or if you could just read off some of the sections of it. But there's a couple of things that let me say this last part and then let's go into the teardown of it. They decided they weren't going to do anything because they couldn't do a 30-second. On Tuesday, the ad team pitched the idea. On Wednesday, they finished the copy, and it was live on the Super Bowl on Sunday.
Wow.
And
That's
look
crazy.
at the impact they had.
Yeah.
That's insane to me.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's brilliant. You trying to get the guys to pull it up?
I'm gonna pull it up myself. If I break something, y'all know what it is.
Yeah. But you know, one of the things that I think about, since I know a lot of folks here are in the real estate space, is like, I just really think, man, that that going forward, I think connection. You know, I think connection. Was my man. Look at that.
So I don't know how to
do it again.
I don't know how to really do it because it takes us away.
Oh, well, you want to do it long enough for us to read it, and then we can come back to us.
Hold on, keep talking. I'll figure it out.
Okay. So a couple of things, right? This community idea, I really feel like is going to be big. Let me say this. When I've been thinking about what is the competitive edge that we can give our people, right? The folks who use REI Rail and are in our community, what can we do to help them get a competitive edge? Yes, we give them, there it is. Yes, we can give them a lot of firepower, but I really think in an era where there's so much competition, this may actually be the time, not so much to go big, but to go small. And by small, I mean to just really focus on who it is you're targeting with your message. You know what I mean? And I feel like Reddit has really dialed into that.
So
let's
right.
read this
so
and then let's read this so I can, because I don't watch sports, so let's read this so I can see what you guys are talking about, so I can be on the same page. So, can you guys see that?
Yep.
Perfectly. Yep.
All right.
So, Just, you want to read it for?
Sure. It says, wow, this actually worked. That's the first line. Then the next line, if you're reading this, it means our bet paid off. Big game spots are expensive, so we couldn't buy a full one, but we were inspired and decided to spend our entire marketing budget on 5 seconds of airtime. One thing we learned from our communities last week is that the underdogs can accomplish just about anything when they come together around a common idea. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the reason finance tech books have to add a chapter on tendies. Maybe you'll help Reddit/Super Bowl, Super Bow, I don't know what that is, teach the world about the majesty of owls. Maybe you'll even
That was a
pause this
subreddit
5
about
second-
owls. We'll come back to that.
Okay. Maybe you'll even pause this 5-second ad like us. Powerful things happen when people rally around something they really care about, and there's a place for that. It's called Reddit. Super Bow.
Yeah, well, Super B and an owl. It's goofy. It's this thing that it's a subreddit that somebody started. It's goofy.
So Vince, how are you
But-
trying to translate this into marketing or the situation that we have
Yeah.
with real estate? I'm waiting to see you
Yeah.
tie this together.
So here, let me give it, say it this way. I'll give you a real life story. So I'm in a clubhouse room with somebody recently, well, with a bunch of people. I'm on stage and somebody hits me in the DM and says, hey, I want to learn more about REI Rail. I'm trying to get started, this, that, and the other. And they asked the question that all newbies ask. I'll give y'all 2 guesses and 1 doesn't count. What's the first question that they ask me?
What list should I buy?
What list should I buy? That's completely unprompted, and Justin got it right without any hesitation. And what I said to this young lady, I won't say her name, I said, the truth is that they all work if you work them. But I don't know enough about you to tell you which list to go after, because, and here's what I said to her, this is the thing that ties it together. I said, I don't know your story, and so I don't know what stories you can tell when you get on the phone with the prospects on that list. I don't know what stories you can tell when you're across the kitchen table from the people on that list, right? Mm-hmm. And I just really believe that you're going to have to, this mass marketing, hey, my name is John Doe, I'd like to buy your house. I don't know, man. Everybody says that. Everybody says that. And so I was communicating to her, I think that as we get more competitive, you're going to have to get really small and figure out, who am I best suited to talk to? What are the stories that I can tell that will make me effective and successful with this given list, right? And I gave her the example. Well, go ahead, Justin.
Well, I was just going to say, there's a lot of things in here. Just if you study copywriting, just, more tactically, you see that they make it about you. I mean, everything is maybe you, right. Maybe you'll, and this thing can happen when, you care about something. And the other thing is, the Patrick Bet David from Valuetainment, he did a interview with Donald Miller. Donald Miller is most people know him as the Story Brand guy, the guy behind Story Brand.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You should watch. Everyone should watch that episode. Just YouTube search for Valuetainment Donald Miller. And Donald Miller breaks down this stuff, this, and he even kind of gets into why the election happened, why, and so the theory here is you've got people think in binary. They think, A, B, us, them. And what I like that they did here is that they made it about, the big guy versus the little guy. Right. So there's the story. The story is the big guy. It's us versus them. You identify with being the little guy. Do you identify with being the little guy? And look what happens. We can accomplish great things together when we rally around a common cause. In this case, we're going to bring down the bad guy. Right. And so that psychology works. It works in everything. I mean, it works if you're going to go after a seller. A lot of what we tell our users and people who are in our community, stop making it about you. And one of the things that I say all the time is, imagine this. Most of the time when people craft sales messages and they're doing it incorrectly, it's because they craft it like they're Batman. And I always tell people, you are not Batman.
That's right.
And they say, am I Robin? I'm like, no, you're not Robin. You're
right.
Alfred.
That's right. That's right. It's your job to make them the hero in the story. And to Justin's point, if you think that this is accidental to what he's saying, this little guy, big guy, Reddit ain't no small company. Reddit is worth $3 billion, homie.
5 seconds. They could afford more than 5 seconds.
Right? So Reddit is owned by Condé Nast. Like, come on, man. Mm-hmm. So they were very intentional about what they did to set this frame this way. And I just thought it was brilliant. What else do you see in there, Justin?
The call to action, obviously at the end, there's a place for that. Powerful things happen when people rally around something they really care about. I love that line. And there's a place for that. It's called Reddit. I love how it ended. And I think that they're playing off of, so they obviously, and our buddy Donnie Bryan talks about this all the time, curiosity, right? And they're playing off the fact that, there's terms in here that most people won't know. What's attendee? What's super bow? What are these things? And so I know I need to go to Reddit. First thing I'm going to do is go figure out what a super bowel is. I'm going to, you know what I mean? Because they leave what's called an open loop. So that's the other thing too. And when you're crafting your sales messages, now you're not going to go and, create curiosity when you meet somebody face to face at the dinner table, and that's a different thing. But when you're sending out your initial sales message, maybe direct mail piece, maybe SMS, or maybe what we've been calling people to do, which is to actually take longer form advertising and start doing that, where they're actually posting articles. They're actually providing value to their community that they could point people to, that then direct people to who are in some sort of situation where they need to talk to you and get your services. That's what that would do. So I would use it in those type of pieces where you create this curiosity. So that's the other thing that I really
and kind of like back in the days when we used to do a lot of direct mail. That's when the mail pieces that came into work, where it was, I'm going to put a picture of me and my family on this mail piece and send it out to this homeowner, because I know they're getting commercials, radios, and now I'm going to come with the hometown small guy feel so they can have a connection with me. And that's exactly kind of what this ad is doing, is saying, hey, look, the small guy, it's me. I know you maybe want to sell your house. If you do work with me, there's a place for that. It's us, not those guys.
Yeah. That's right. And what's so perfect about what you said too, Max, was the picture of the family, where you feel like you know them. And that's what they did when they said big game spots are expensive. Big guy, NFL,
we're worth $3 billion and we're owned by Condé Nast. But yeah, most of you guys don't know Condé Nast is. They're huge.
Right. Yeah. So we couldn't buy a full one. So feel sorry for us, because we're like you. We can't afford it. But we were inspired and decided to spend our entire marketing budget on 5 seconds of airtime. So now they're letting you know, they're letting you on the inside to know a little bit more about them, so that you can empathize with them.
Yeah,
got it.
Perfect. And Max, even as big as your business has gotten, your messaging, I suspect, I talked to, not to give too much away, but I talked to somebody that we're looking at doing a deal with, who said, yeah, I must have bought 100 houses for Max myself. I didn't even know who he was. I just kept buying stuff from, try it. Okay. Yeah, I won't.
No, it's cool.
But as big as your business has gotten, I suspect that the stuff that you send out still sounds small town.
We still put somebody's name on it, because it's truly us versus Goliath. And that's the way we put it. Because even on some of our, and we'll move on after this, but even on some of our marketing ads, we hold the camera, we use iPhones, we use the camera, we make it feel small town. And we talk about, they may give you an offer, but they don't actually know your street like we do, because we drive it every day. And we talk about that. And I say in an ad, an algorithm, these guys from California don't know your neighborhood like we do, because we live in it.
Interesting. So, and you intentionally record that on the phone and not
lower quality,
the crispy, cameras.
Mm-hmm. And that's some marketing tactics that we do when we spend money on Facebook ads or anything like that, or search ads. We do it that way.
Yeah. And it's counterintuitive, right? Because most people think, I need the big marketing budget and the high production value. And here, this is a case where lower production value actually wins.
Yeah, because right. What happens is like, if you're in a market like Charlotte or Raleigh, all right, so all the big guys, so the biggest publicly traded backed companies are sending out commercials every hour on the hour about that they can buy your house. So we all understand when we can say, hey, these big guys from Silicon Valley, or these guys from LA, or these guys from San Francisco, they say they want to buy your house, but they don't know your neighborhood like we do, because we live here, right? Mm-hmm. They don't. So we're saying, hey, we can probably give you a better price because we actually know your neighborhood, or hey, we're local. And so that's going to work with some people and not work with some. Some people love some people will always rather go eat at McDonald's than go eat at the small burger joint down the street. But there's a majority of people in my case that I think will love to go eat the burger from down the street. One, it's better. There's more love in it. And, Kelly made it, Tom made it, whoever.
And I think that
Yeah,
there's
and
this
I
idea of I was going to say just intimidation. Sometimes the big corporate, you know, the big corporate look can be intimidating to people, especially if you're going after like a pain list. They're going to want to talk to somebody that can empathize with them. And the last thing they're going to think is this corporation has anybody on the other side of their phone that's going to empathize with me.
Yeah. And so, listen, I didn't mean to go too far left with it. I just have been kind of obsessing on this ad for the last couple of days. And I just feel like the folks in the audience, they can pull a Reddit. They can do a version of this tomorrow morning in their marketing campaign. So I just, thought it was pretty cool that they pulled this off.
And not to give everybody, our secrets, because we give you all of our secrets. When I say our, I mean me and my wife. Because she is working on an advertising campaign right now for her business. She's a realtor, and she's looking for creative ways to help people right now who can't get into homes. First-time home buyers are being crushed right now because of the lack of inventory. And this is something I kind of wanted to touch on with you guys, which is, and where I am in Northern Virginia, homes are right now going for over $100,000 over asking. First-time home buyers pretty much cannot get into homes right now in Northern Virginia. I've seen it in New Jersey. I've seen it everywhere. I mean, Delaware, even in West Virginia, places that you wouldn't expect, because they're losing out on bids and their offers simply aren't as strong. An interesting phenomena that's happening is that people are coming in with like hundreds of thousands of dollars down to get the cash to put down on properties, because of the fact that there's no inventory out there. And I was scratching my head thinking, how are people, why are there so many people with so much cash in the market? And what's going on? I'm getting more concerned about inflation. And then I started thinking, man, these people are pulling their money out of their 401ks. They're pulling money out of their retirement savings. And the people who are winning typically are older in age. And so the young new homeowner who doesn't have, or home buyer who doesn't have, 15, 20 years in a 401k saved up, they're losing out. And so Vince, I wanted to ask what you guys thought about, are we seeing a rapid decline in assets in the markets because people pulling money out of 401ks? What kind of impact could that have? That's one thing. The other thing is, when we talk about us versus them, the first-time homebuyer right now, man, they need help. And so we need more and more people to kind of put their creative, hats on and figure out, how can we solve this problem of finding inventory for these people who really need homes, right? And I think that the wholesalers have an answer, because the realtors are having a hard time trying to figure this out.
So real quick, have you guys heard, and we're diving more into real estate stuff, and I'm sure people enjoy that. Have you guys heard that big corporations, even like Blackstone, have bought up all of the manufactured home products for the next 5 years?
I did not hear that, but it does not surprise me.
So they bought up all the inventory. So if you go try to buy a manufactured home right now, you can't buy it. It's already spoken for. So that trend shows you that quick housing is going to be needed. I don't know where, but we're running out of real estate to actual homes. So that's why this I'll give you guys a hint. This past week I bought 10 lots.
Yeah.
Last week I bought 10 lots, 10 in lots, and continue to buy more.
So
I just got outbid on when I tried.
So we go into 2021 trends. I mean, is that what you guys are thinking? Land purchase. What about like mobile homes?
Well, that's the Well, I would say the manufactured homes is, I don't know too much about mobile homes, but manufactured homes still look and feel like a home. Like
Sure.
And you drop that foundation and it's a house.
Yeah, it's done.
So two things on this, they kind of weave together in terms of a trend. One, I think I shared this in the group before, is that I was having a conversation with a hard money lender here, just doing kind of regular check-in, see what the market is doing. And she shared with me that where most of their business typically is like 80-20 rehabs to new construction. In the last 6 months, it's 50-50. Because what the investors have figured out is that that's the only way that they can find opportunity. They're getting outbid by all these folks showing up with big bags of cash that Justin is talking about. So buying a rehab is a non-starter. They got to do ground up just to have something to put their guys on, right? To even have something to invest in. So I thought that was huge. And then the other thing, this also came from a really smart person I was having a conversation with recently, and they were saying that mobile homes, to your question, are becoming really attractive to the institutions. They really like manufactured, including mobile homes. And part of the reason, this is just his theory, but I think it makes sense. He said, there's all this talk about the institutions coming in and owning the single family rental space. It hasn't happened. I frankly don't think it will happen. I think it's too messy of a business for them to ever beat you guys out who are watching this. But mobile homes, they can come in, boom, drop down, 300 units on a, 20-acre pad or whatever it is, and they can just gobble those things up and do a roll up. So I think there's something to that for that reason, Justin.
Yeah, and that's where my mind immediately went, was ground rent, right? Like if I'm thinking long term based on what I'm seeing, land is going to be the most valuable thing. And so maybe you want to hold on and continue to own that land, and build and give people the opportunity to build, but don't sell the land.
Yeah. So
are you just gonna hold on to yours, Max?
No, we're building. So what I don't,
okay.
I know I don't talk a lot on YouTube on some of the things that we're doing, because we continuously talk about wholesaling, because that's what people ask questions about. Is last year we bought into a construction division to bring into the company because it made sense. And our head GC, Victor, went out and got his construction unlimited license. So now we're construction unlimited, and we can build anything. So right now we're doing a feasibility study on a 55-acre build-to-rent place that we're going to build in-house. All funding we're just going to raise the funding and build it. And we can pop up a house. I mean, I could pop up a 3-2 for $75,000, $80,000. So it just doesn't. It makes sense for us to, one, sell some to be able to keep some. But this is where it's going. We're literally buying places that were less desirable a year ago, 2 years ago. They're becoming a place where you are like, okay, a house just went for medium price in this area, and people necessarily wouldn't live here. Right? You get what I'm saying? So some of these places that are that were considered the hood, the 1 acre lot that you can divide up into 5 places are now selling in my area $160,000, $220,000 house 2 blocks away from the hood.
Yeah. Right.
So when I started seeing that trend, I knew what to go after. So for you people listening out there trying to figure out what trend you want to go after the tax delinquent empty lots. All of them.
That's a bar.
All of them. Because builders are going crazy. I've seen wood prices shoot up 83% in a year.
Yeah.
And we're still building.
Yeah.
It's so crazy because I'm at the point now where we're rehabbing houses and they don't even hit the market. They don't even hit the market. Before we get done, a hedge fund or somebody's coming in and offering cash, no inspections, and they're paying retail. And I'm just, how does this make sense? How is a hedge fund coming in paying retail? It makes no sense.
Where they expect the market to go.
I ain't gonna get caught holding the bag.
The market to go. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to I don't think we'll do this today, like the gloom and doom. Like when's the proverbial bottom of the bag fall out?
But let's think about this, because we talk about that. There's a true supply and demand issue going on. Money's cheap.
Right.
There's not enough housing. So what happens?
Right.
The prices go up. So
they go skyrocket.
We always have this fear because 2007 and 8 lingers back in everybody's mind of the bubble. And we talked about this. I don't believe that there is some, other than money just being printed left and right for a whole nother separate reason. If we didn't have a pandemic going on right now, I don't think anybody would, I personally wouldn't say that I'm in risk or anything is going to fall down. We're just literally running out of things to sell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have said a couple of times, including I think last week, that I am much more I am much less scared than I was a year ago. Again, a year ago, you can go back, check the tape. I was on lives and talking to people on streams or whatever, and we thought the bottom was going to fall out. Man, we had another hard money lender actually come on and talk to us. Remember, we had Paul come on, and he was like, "I've never seen this." Everybody was all worried, but then as the summer and the fall went through, and we saw the demand maintain and then pick up, and then prices picked up, and we kind of watched how the millennials were carrying the bag and the inventory wasn't there. And, I think that there will have to be a softening in prices, and I think prices will have to come down. I'm just not nearly as concerned as I was before about a cataclysm. Like, I thought that the wheels might come off. I don't think that anymore. I think we'll have a soft landing. It's going to come down. We'll have a recession, but I don't think it'll be end of the world.
So I'm the eye kid in the bunch. And not to scare everybody, so I'm not going to go into my thoughts, but I'm not as confident as Vince yet, until I really see what happens with this forbearance issue, with how people are going to gracefully come out of forbearance. And I think if we have a good answer to that, then I'll feel good. But right now, there's just too many unknowns for me to feel good about what late 2021 or even what 2022 looks like.
So
I'm a little nervous.
So Justin, let's talk about this, right? And that's why we're here. Let's talk about it. How many people are behind delinquent on their mortgages right now?
There's 2.5 million people that are in some sort of forbearance right now.
Okay. So let's just hypothetically say 50% of those people can't catch up.
Right.
There's 1 million new homes come on the market with the banks. You know what doesn't happen? That didn't happen the last time? Money's there to buy these. All it will do is if we get flooded with inventory, it is my theory. If we get flooded with inventory, the prices will start to settle a little bit. But then as soon as that inventory runs out, it goes back up. What happens is I don't think the banks are worried because they say they still have these qualified buyers with the money so cheap right now, because remember, the Fed is lowering the rates only so people can keep buying and building. So
yeah.
If 1.5 million,
like I said, I think that's a good point, and so it's one of these ideas that I'm holding on to loosely because I want to be on the positive side, but I also felt 2008, 2009 personally.
Yeah, hard.
But I think that colors a lot. Yeah, I think that colors a lot of the people. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. And so I'm totally aware of that, which is why I allow my brothers to sharpen me and my thinking towards it. But I still am nervous about it, and I am nervous about even like escrows. Like, nobody's talking about escrows. Escrows aren't being paid. So, when you have a housing payment, and you guys know this, I'm just explaining to people who maybe don't. When you make a housing payment, the bank typically pays your property insurance, and also like any state and local taxes that you keep in escrow that the bank would then pay. Usually maybe every 6 months, or depending on your county, maybe every quarter, to pay your property taxes. And so what's happening right now is while people are in escrow, the property taxes aren't being paid. So if the property taxes aren't being paid, then the banks are going to have to pay it. So the banks not only aren't, getting income from mortgage, from their mortgage payments, but they're also having to shell out property taxes on all these properties. And so what could happen is, when I look at people who are in forbearance, chances are they cannot withstand a large change in their payment. Chances are, if their payment goes up $200-300 a month, that's a huge problem, right? So either the banks are going to have to then readjust all these mortgages and kind of put all the stuff on the back end and extend mortgages and change the terms on the loans, which is really hard if these mortgages are already chopped up and sold as financial mortgage-backed securities. They can't really change the terms. So I am a little worried about how all this sort of works out. The market may be smarter now and say, hey, we're going to figure it out, and we're just going to force investors in capital markets to just accept this change. And so then they can go back and change the terms of the loans. So maybe that happens. But I am a little bit nervous. And then if these property taxes don't get paid, now you're going to have a lot of properties that could potentially go into foreclosure, or at least tax foreclosure through their local governments, through the local municipalities.
So
now the likelihood that's going to happen, that's what we all can agree or disagree on. But it is a problem that will have to be solved.
Yeah. So let's talk about wholesalers and what we learned from 2007 and 8 and what they can be preparing for now, which I said a year ago. So if you've been preparing for this, then you would know what to do. But the government is going to be forced to come out with some type of programs. And as soon as these programs are released, you need to become educated on these programs. And typically these programs are going to be geared towards homeowners and new home ownership. But for the current homeowners that want to restructure or do something like that, there's going to be programs for these. And as a wholesaler or an investor in general, you need to familiarize yourself with these products, because somebody that I know has told me that this is what they did during the last crash in order to tremendously grow their portfolio. They became very familiar with these products, and then they started doing education on these products to help homeowners. Now, most of them will take your help and continue on and use the program as possible. But then there's a percentage of them that will not make it through there. And because you were there as a guiding light during the hard times, you have an opportunity to be able to jump in and rescue that property from them and to be able to add it to your personal portfolio or to add, push it on to other investors as needed. So that's just a tip from somebody that I personally know that went out and grew their portfolio tremendously during the last downfall. So be looking out for it.
Yeah, I mean, there's always I mean, the other side of that is I'm scared for homeowners, but for wholesalers and real estate investors, I mean, there's always opportunity, whether it's going down or going up. So there's going to be tons of opportunity. You just got to be aware of what's going on and know how to actually be nimble, be educated, and know how to take advantage of the opportunity that's out there.
So Freddie makes a good point. She says, with the way properties are appreciating, a good portion of people in forbearance may be able to sell rather than go through bank foreclosure.
Yeah, and that's part of that's part of Go ahead. We made that point last week on office hours that could be one of the solutions is the fact that they actually have the money to sell. So that's an excellent point. Or they have the value in their properties to sell.
They have the value, yeah.
But
there's
I
a
think
lot
the point
of
that we
equity in
made
houses this time around.
Yeah, there's a lot of equity, but and so it depends on how long that equity or how fast that equity depletes if there is a correction. So if I were in forbearance, I want to be one of the very first ones to sell my house, because if there's a flood of inventory, then they may lose that equity pretty quickly. But I agree with you. Yeah. I think that there's a layer of those folks who will be able to take advantage of that, but I don't think everyone will, based on timing.
Yeah.
Got it. So we just hit our first hour mark. Is there anything you guys want to touch on? I know sometimes we go, and I enjoy these conversations, but the whole point of Launchpad is we'll start gearing up and hitting more topics as we start listening to more of our guests and more people watching to kind of figure out, hey, what do we want to touch on? And we'll brush up on things during the week and bring you guys some valuable points that you could then take into your business, whether you're a real estate investor or any other type of entrepreneur. We just talked about using the Reddit strategy, we're going to call it right now, and doing David versus Goliath in your marketing. How hometownish, how small can you feel to your customers to be able to defeat the big guy? So, and we talked about how you can be a part of this real estate, whatever's going to happen, whether it's good or bad. How can you be a part of it? So Justin and Vince, is there anything that you guys want to touch on? I know we hit our first hour, but I'm free. So if you guys want to touch on a topic before we get out of here, we can do that.
I don't have any additional topics.
I'm pretty good.
Sorry.
Okay.
Well, I was just going to say, if there's any other questions, I know this lag is crazy, dude. I'm like, it's like, if there are any questions, I would love to make sure that we can, help folks who have questions. But, these are three really big topics and stories. I think if folks digest those, kind of this broader capital markets thing, Bitcoin, what it means for the everyday investor, the Reddit strategy, like you said, and then understanding what's happening in real estate, specifically the gem that you gave about lots, which again is being borne out by the lenders that I've talked to. And, you're seeing it in your own market. I'd be wholesaling the crap out of lots. I'd be gobbling them up everywhere I could, either to hold on to and build myself or to wholesale them to people like Max, or Justin or myself.
Literally, I'm signing them every day. We're buying lots right now. It's so crazy because they're so cheap, right? So just keep them, buy them. I mean, it's crazy. I ain't gonna tell you.
Well, you know what? I was just going to say, yeah, it depends on your market, because I know we've been looking for land. My wife and I've been looking for land, local, and we just can't find it here local. So not where it's worth it, because it's just so overpriced here in Northern Virginia. But definitely look maybe in some of the other markets because you can virtual wholesale land a whole lot more confidently than you can a house.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
So if you guys got any questions, we'll hang around for another 5 minutes, try to answer some questions. Go ahead and type them in the YouTube chat box. I'll bring them up on screen, and we'll see if we can get things answered.
Somebody just said, can we talk about venture capital? Happy to. I need a little bit more color to know what aspect of it you want to hear about. There's certainly a bunch of venture capital money out there right now and some crazy valuations, but I think I need a little bit more to be able to answer the question well. What else we got?
Interesting tidbit.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody told me that one of the qualifying questions that they use to weed out companies for venture capital money is whether or not you're using Notion.
Really? Yeah. That's hilarious to me. You just mentioned that to me the other day.
Yeah. So Notion is a SaaS product that a lot of SaaS founders are using to, or do organization throughout their, to organize their companies. And it was a topic for us, because we were doing the same thing.
So
we're looking for something. Go ahead.
Real quick, somebody brought up a good point. If you're watching this live, please do me a favor. It costs you nothing. Just hit the like button, hit the thumbs up button, and we'll greatly appreciate that. Just hit the thumbs up button, hit the like button, and that's helps all you got to do. That's all you got to do.
Helps the algorithm.
Yeah,
because it's us against them.
It's us against them, right?
It's us against the YouTube algorithm, and we need your help.
That's true.
I think the idea of screening people based on a product is a little bit weird. I'm not sure about that, but I did hear a VC talking one time and say that he weeded people out. He would go to lunch with a founder, and he said if he saw, he mentioned a couple of times he saw this happen specifically, where they either didn't tip or they did little things like got a water cup and then got soda. He said those were completely disqualifying things for a founder. He said, I literally, and they had no idea why they didn't get the check.
I get the no tipping.
Yeah.
But the water cup and soda?
He said you're a thief.
Oh, if you get okay.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Got you. Yeah.
You are a thief.
100%. I thought you were saying if you order water and then a soda.
No. He was saying people do
you
little
get the
things
water
like
cup
that.
in line and you go to the soda machine and fill it up with soda. Yeah, that's thievery.
Somebody do that.
I was like, wow, this dude missing out on millions of dollars over a water cup.
Well, if you're asking about venture capital, but I guess maybe that's what we're talking about. Like there's to get venture capital sometimes, some of these guys who write these checks, man, they got these little things that they care about.
So Justin,
and it ain't always how great your company's doing.
So a question for both of you guys, is it still the era of founders or the era of VC?
No, it's the era of founders.
Okay.
There's so much money out there. Yeah, there's so much money out there right now. And what you hear a lot of VCs say, good ones anyway, is that they're betting on the jockey, not the horse anyway. You know, they understand that it really is about the management team, because the product that got the interest of that VC may or may not be the thing that hits. But if that team is solid, then it's a worthy investment. I think most VCs have come around to that way of thinking. Yeah.
So it's interesting that someone asked about coding. I was actually so we're all coming out with, like, you know, Vince has Heart of the City. Obviously, you know, we're on Max's channel. I'm going to be coming out with a YouTube channel very, very soon. It's going to be called The Big Idea. And we're going to talk about that stuff. We're going to talk about how to build products. We're going to talk about coding. We're going to talk about, if you want to build a product, basically how to take your big idea and make it a reality. So if you are interested in how to build products, go ahead and DM me at Just the Big Idea on
so just real quick
into that
real quick, Just
on Instagram.
Can we dedicate 30 minutes of next week's show to creating big products?
Boom.
No, because it got to come to my channel.
No, this is going to be your intro.
Yeah.
This going to be your intro.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's
Absolutely.
because I think there's a couple things that you guys hold that you possess beyond real estate, right? I want this to be broader than just real estate. Vince, you're very knowledgeable when it comes to VC money on the street, all that stuff. Justin, you've created enterprise software for large companies. We've all launched big things successfully. We all great at marketing when it comes to marketing in general. I think these are the things that can help every entrepreneur, including the real estate people. So I think what happens is when we want to talk about real estate, we hyper focus down on the small things like how to find comps and how to do this and that. Those things are out there. You know, and you can find those from people. You can. Here's what I would say, and don't take offense to this. You can find those answers from way less qualified people than us. What you should take from us is the things that we've been able to do that's big and beyond that type of small things. You can Google those. But I love when I get to hang out with Justin and Vince, and when I get to go to Virginia or hang out in Jersey with these guys, because they think big and they've done big things. So it allows me to expand my mind and talk about some bigger things. So I think next week's show, we're going to spend 30 minutes talking about how to come up with big ideas and launch those big ideas, how to think big. And then we'll do certain things, and we'll bring on some guests on this show. I have a friend of mine who owns 30-something McDonald's. We're going to talk about franchising. How do you talk about franchising? And he just started buying other franchises. So we're talking about how you evaluate a franchise. So we'll bring him on here. I think it'd be cool. I just want to grow this. I want this to be more than real estate, because being in real estate, you're an entrepreneur, you're a marketer. Any other business is the same exact principles. So let's have a bigger brand idea. Let's think big. Let's think big.
Let's do it.
Can I pose a final question to both of you guys that I just saw come up in the chat stream?
Sure.
And if you can pull it, I think it'd be great. He says,
who is it?
Why help? His name is Tony. Oh, he says, why help people to wholesale when there's so much competition? What's in it for you guys? I'll let both of y'all take a crack at that.
That's a good thing, man. So I'll start. So back when I started in late 2016, I was down and out, man. I was way down and out. I was living at my mom's house, and I discovered, and this was in my 30. So my 30, almost 31. I was
Is this the part of the show where we start crying?
No.
I'm not crying.
Oh, okay.
I just want to answer. I just want to answer this question. I was so down and out, right? I was depressed. I think it was the first time in my life I was truly like depressed and could identify it. And I found wholesaling, and when I found it, it completely changed my life. And when you're truly excited about something, you don't hide it. You actually go to the top of a mountain and you scream about it. And I'm so confident in my ability that I never once thought, over 400 YouTube videos later, that you guys were my competition. I just wanted to take trips with people where I didn't pay for everything. Right. And the only way to do that was to make everybody else rich too. When I get in my plane and fly to your airport, I want you to jump in your plane and fly behind me or fly next to me. So I love being able to, I guess my claim to flame in this industry is putting people on, and the list is long.
Yeah. That's real.
And whether I know you or I don't know you, I love to see other people succeed, and I love to show them their ability. I love to be able to show them that you can do this too. And it's all about if your surroundings are small, you will continue to think small. And I was that same way. And when I got that big idea, and when I got that spark in me, it really just took me to a whole nother level. And I love to share that with you guys. And I love for everybody to be in their own circle of being that big. So that's my answer. It brings me more joy than money to see somebody else succeed.
Yeah, that's perfect. I hope Tonio is still around. I think he asked that question a while back, but I was scrolling and it just caught my eye. So that's awesome, man.
I mean, here's the thing, like, we could talk all day about that. And I don't even think in one episode or 10 episodes, we could really effectively answer, give you the full dimension of it. And so I Max's why is perfect. I want to ask though, like, why do you care? I mean, take the information and run. Beyond just what are you thinking we gonna get out of it, right? I mean, we talk about mindset all the time, and we want to see people succeed in life and business, and the more you give, that's just the better it is for everybody, for us, for the industry, for our company, for our employees, for our families. And so we've made a practice of giving. I mean, when you look at like products that we've made, we were the first to do a lot of things in this industry, from a technology perspective. We brought a lot of firsts to the game, and guess what? There are other companies out there doing them now, and we don't care, because at the end of the day, it made the industry better, and it helped everybody succeed and get better at what they're doing. But from a mindset perspective, man, I would just say, hey, we want to help. Get the information, and don't worry. Don't think that people are out to get you. Don't think about, what's their motive. You know what I mean? Like, does the information help? Can you put it into action? Can you change your life with it? That's what you should be focused on.
And real quick, just to add to that, somebody that I looked up to when I was putting out bandit signs, Thursday, Friday night at 3:00 in the morning, that I used to listen to religiously, found my number after I put out so many YouTube videos, and after I started that Facebook group and had 50, 60, 70,000 people in there. He got my number from somebody and called me and said, "Hey, Max." And I recognized the voice immediately. And I talked for a second. He said, "Hey, so what are you doing with this Facebook group?" I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "People could go in there, ask a question, and get an answer right away." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's what it does." He says, "That's going to cannibalize what's going on." He says, "I make $90,000 a week from coaching." And I said, "Yeah, man, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry you think that way." And then I got off the phone. But that made me know I was doing the right thing. Right? Because I'll be honest with y'all, I could have probably made an extra $5 to $7 million a year, $5 to $10 million a year, starting probably 3 years ago if I was coaching. So when he told me that, it gave me affirmation to say, I got to keep going. Because if I put everything behind a paywall, y'all are never going to find this. And I want everybody to find it. So, but even more importantly, I'm so much more than real estate. And I can't wait for you guys to see so much more than that. All my entrepreneur stuff. I mean, I've bought 2 businesses in the last 6 months. So I really want to start talking about some of those things and kind of giving you guys the big picture. And I hope in the next 6 more months, I'll own my first franchise. So,
man, hence the term Launchpad. Man, real estate really was a launch pad for you, Max.
correct. It was.
And I'm excited for people to hear about some of the things that you've been doing. They don't know. I don't even think they know. They maybe know 15% of what you've done.
Yeah.
You know, I think about what you did in Jamaica. Nobody knows about that.
Yeah. People still don't know.
They still don't know.
But and that's why I want to talk about. I want to talk about everything that I do. That's because I talk about real estate is only 1/5 of my income. I've got so much more to tell y'all about. So much more to tell you about. And it's gonna be fun. And I think this time I found the right folks to bring along and share their journey as well too, because these are. I don't just say it, like these guys, I really enjoy hanging out around these guys whenever we get together. And I think you guys will enjoy them just as much as I do, because they're smart and they always got that thinking, moving forward mentality. And I think you're going to learn a lot from them, and we're going to learn a lot from you over the time of us doing this. So,
yeah, I'm excited, man. And I'm excited for people like Tonio that ask questions like that. Cause my hope is they put the information and knowledge into practice. And man, Antonio, maybe we'll be doing a deal together a year, 2 years down the road. You know, I mean, that's the thing. That's what we want. We want more and more people to just get in the game, use this as a launch pad into not just real estate, but other things too. You know, so
before we go,
a couple wholesale deals and you want to buy McDonald's, you know,
Vince, what about you? I mean, why do you do what you do? You do a lot during the day that a lot of people don't know. Why do you do it?
You know, I think you guys both covered it beautifully. I guess the way that I would just say it in terms of how I'm thinking about it when I'm giving away information like this is, you know, my pastor said one time years ago, he said, you know, if God can get a blessing through you, he can get a blessing to you. And so that has just been like a mantra for me. You know, I don't think in terms of competition. I'm not worried about you using this information against me out in the marketplace. What's for me is for me. And so if I can just give away enough, bless enough people, I'm going to get mine. It probably won't come directly from the direction that I've been giving away information. I intend to be assaulted by money from many, many different directions. That is my goal.
Money assault.
I want to be completely, you know what I'm saying? So I ain't thinking about you, right? I'm going to give you this bar. I'm going to let this blessing come through my hands out to you. And I'm going to leave the rest to God, right? He's going to bless me from directions that I'm not even thinking about. Like, I just don't think that way.
Yeah. And again, I mean, I love how you ended it. You don't think that way, right?
Yeah,
it's a mindset.
It's dope, man. So listen, I appreciate you guys. We went 1 hour and 20 minutes. We'll try to, I think this is going to be a 90-minute show, to be honest with you guys, but it's okay. We like rocking with you guys. We're going to be here every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to keep bringing you guys gem. Don't forget, next week, Justin's going to be speaking about big ideas and how to launch big ideas and take those things from ideas to actual concept and what it takes and some of those things. And and then we'll keep it.
We'll come with some resources too, Max. Like if you want to learn coding, I'll come up with the top 5. If you want to learn just how to build products, we'll come up with, you know, top 5 resources for that. We'll put together a little resource list for people too.
Perfect. I love it. Any parting words, Vince?
No, I'm good, man. I love this. This is, you know, this gets me energized, man. You know, I love hopping on here and sharing with folks. So I'm just happy to have a platform and have a guy that, you know, I'm comfortable sharing the stage with, people that I am looking to, you know, each side of me, but I'm also looking up to, man. It's a real blessing to be in business with folks like that. So I'm having a ball, man. I'm having a ball. Show 2 in the back.
Hey, listen, you got to get a shirt next week that say money assault.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm going to come up with some merch.
All directions. Just everywhere. Just everywhere.
Everywhere. Just Oh, there's just money all over the place. Yeah.
Well, look, man, I appreciate you guys as always. You guys out there watching, please give this a thumbs up. I'll see you guys next week, 7 p.m. sharp. Y'all stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.
You got it. Peace, guys.
Peace.